Welcome everybody to our podcast.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, April.
Hi, Kelsey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So excited to
Good.
be recording our first episode.
I know. Thank you, everyone, for coming and listening to our grand debut. Very
Oh, I
excited.
love that. A grand debut.
I
I
know.
love that.
Well, just trying to make it fancy.
Well, we're so excited to have you guys here. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Should we talk a little bit about like how we met, how we decided to start this podcast, how this whole
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
started in the first place?
Let's do a little intro. So, do you want to introduce ourselves and then introduce our friendship? Do you want to introduce ourselves and introduce our, I don't know, where we're coming
I
from?
love that, our friendship.
Yeah.
You can kick us off.
Okay. So my name is Kelsey. This is my voice, Kelsey Butler. I am a registered dietitian, and I have a master's in clinical nutrition sciences from the University of Alabama, which is where I met April. Currently, I work in nutrition research. I work for a nutrition app. And I also do meal planning and recipe writing. And I work with clients that have eating disorders and disordered eating stuff. So, yeah, I'm a little bit all over the place, but that's kind of my passions. April, do you want to introduce yourself?
Tell us some fun facts about you.
Fun facts.
Yeah.
Fun fact one, right now I'm in New Zealand.
So cool.
I know,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. So when we try to figure out recording times, it's like an actual to do because of the time difference.
There's like a good 4-hour window that we're both awake and doing things.
And it's not an obscene hour.
Yeah. We're both awake and like able to process things and not
Yes. Yes.
It's good. It's all right. We figured it out. We're here.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I would say I actually was thinking about it the other day. If someone asked me what my favorite food was,
That's a hard question, I think.
I don't.
It's so hard. I can give you a category, but
Okay.
not one food item.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would say chocolate. I eat chocolate every day.
Oh, are we making that a food?
Every day.
Are we making that a food category?
I would say so. It's a yeah. You got chocolate candy, chocolate drinks, chocolate syrup.
We are nutrition experts, therefore we can create our own food categories.
I would say
and
so.
we're making chocolate a food category.
Yes.
Right now.
100%. You eat chocolate everything, anything.
Have you ever been to one of those chocolate places that has like chocolate pasta, like literally chocolate everything?
Yes. And so another fun fact, I'm from outside of Philly in Pennsylvania, and we're really close to Hershey, Pennsylvania. So growing up, we go to Hershey Park all the time, and they have
went there too.
These like massive massive Reese's cups walking around, and it's the best. And you get so much chocolate.
Gosh. It's so good. Do you remember when, like, as a kid going there at the beginning of the park, they would take your height, and whatever your height was, it would correlate to a certain type of candy, and that's the candy you would get.
And when you were finally a Twizzler, you could ride the Big Bear ride. Yes. Oh my gosh. Or Great Bear or whatever it was called. I don't know.
When we went there for the first time, my youngest sister was maybe like 5 or 6, and she ate so much chocolate she threw up.
Oh no. Was it ride related or was it just straight chocolate?
It was just straight chocolate.
Oh no. That's
so funny to think about. I mean, not funny in the moment, but it's funny. We chuckle about it now.
It's one of those things where you look back. It's what do they call it? Type 2 fun or type B fun. Like it's
I've never heard of that before.
It's like not fun in the moment, but it's really fun later down the line.
That's cool. I've never heard it referred to as that, and now I'm going to use that. Type B fun. Or we should clarify what that is.
Yeah, you should look it up before you try to use it, unlike me, and I'm just saying it and sounding probably dumb.
No. Any more fun facts for us?
I think that's a good bit. That's a good 3.
Those are some fun facts.
Yeah. All right, your turn.
So I'm also a registered dietitian, and like Kelsey mentioned, we have the same degree in clinical nutrition sciences because we went to the same school in Alabama. Yeah. But yeah, so I have my own private practice. It's called Edge Health Solutions. I named it because I named it Edge Health Solutions because I felt like there was so much false nutrition information out there. I want everyone to know that my nutrition information was going to be based off of cutting edge science. So hence the word
Ooh,
edge.
I like
But
that. I actually didn't know that.
yeah, I don't think I've told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Cool.
don't think I've told you that. But yeah,
Mm.
so I have my own private practice. I work one-on-one with clients, mostly with women, but I can work with anybody and just helping them trying to reach their nutrition goals. It's so much fun. I just enjoy it so much. It's such a passion of mine. And yeah, I do a lot of nutrition talks or workshops with different companies and things like that. And on the side, I work as a clinical dietitian at a local hospital, doing a
God,
lot of very different things than what I do in my business.
you're so
So
busy. Oh gosh.
a wide range, similar to Kelsey. We
Yeah.
get bored easily, so we need lots of things to
Yes, honestly. I
do.
mean, hopefully that means that we get to cover the whole realm of
Yes.
nutrition because I feel like between
Hmm.
your work and my work, at least we can, we've got one voice in almost every section. Not much food service.
Yes.
A little bit food service. I do recipe stuff.
Well, yeah, we can dabble in food service.
Yeah.
But yeah, so fun facts about me. I don't live in New Zealand. I live in Arizona. But I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm obsessed with Boston. I think it's the best place ever. But I currently live in Arizona because my husband is from here. So I'm a transplant. I love to do anything active or outdoors. And I would have to say my favorite food category is Italian food,
Ooh, well, you
which works
married
out well
right.
because I'm married an Italian.
Yeah.
So it works out really
Yeah.
well for me.
Yeah, our joke with April is that because she married into an Italian family, now she has an Italian last name, and I apparently I spelt it wrong once, and so
You
I just
did.
started calling her April Ravioli instead because
So April Vetrano, April Ravioli, one and the same, really.
April
I'll respond to
Carbonara.
anything.
My boyfriend calls April Carbonara, but he says it with a New Zealand
Carbonara.
accent. Carbonara. That's
Should
not how
learn
we
how
say
to make carbonara. Carbonara.
that would be
Yeah, so Kelsey and I met in order to become a registered dietitian. Let's start there.
all
You
right
need to
from the
have
beginning.
a bachelor's of science degree in a specific accredited didactic program.
Didactic.
Didactic. Such a weird word. Didactic program.
Yeah.
And then you have to apply for a residency program. Kelsey and I both applied for a combined residency master's degree program, and we ended up in that program together in Alabama.
Yeah, but nice. It was a tight knit 25-person group, and
Were
we
there
met the
25
first
of us?
day. Yeah, there's only 25 of us.
Oh my goodness.
I know, and we met in the
Yeah,
first day in the bathroom.
we did.
I know. I remember I walked in and I was like, "Are you here for the thing?" And you're like, "Yeah." And you didn't have. I came with our really good friend Mackenzie. I ended up living with her as well, and so I came with her, and it was just you in the bathroom. I was like, "You want to like come sit with us?" You're like,
That
"Oh
was
my
the
gosh,
best
yeah."
moment.
And
I
here we
remember
are.
that because you were already living with Mackenzie, so you like had a buddy, but I didn't have any buddies.
Yeah,
So
I
I
know.
was
I got
really
lucky.
hoping that I was like, am I gonna be too annoying or a creeper if I just sit next to this random girl I met in the bathroom? So I was so glad that you asked me.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm just one of those people that I'm like a dog, and I just froth over people being my friend. So,
You're just like, friend?
friend, hi. Do you want to talk to me?
And the
Yeah.
rest is history.
I know, and here we are. Yeah. So, I mean, a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, I reached out
Hmm.
to April and I was like, "Hey, do you want to do a podcast? Because it's something that was on my mind, and I had a feeling it was on your mind too."
Hmm.
And yeah, it's just come to fruition here.
Yeah. And I'm
Awesome.
so glad you asked because it was definitely on my mind, but it was one of those things where I wasn't ready to tackle it on my own. And I was like, oh, it'd be so much fun to do it with somebody. So I'm glad you like got the ball rolling for us.
Yeah, yeah,
I need
definitely.
that
I
push.
feel like, especially when it comes to nutrition, it's so important to have someone to bounce ideas off of too,
Yes.
because there's much out there, which we're gonna
Hmm.
get into. But
Yeah.
it's good to at least just like have a conversation about it and not be so. I don't know. You can get so lost,
Yeah.
lost
Oh my
in it.
goodness, you can.
Yeah.
Especially with all the research too. It can get
Yes,
really.
which we will get into. So, do you want to actually? We can get into our segue to
Oh
our
yeah.
first segment. So, the way that we're going to be setting these up is each podcast will be kind of, saying, hey, what's up? And then offering a research segment. So one of us will pull a topic and a paper, or actually, I pulled a few papers today because I had a topic
Ooh,
that I just wanted to dive into.
I'm
So we'll just
excited.
go through a topic. We're going to do all the research for you and then just tell you what we found. And then we'll also be going through a recipe that we made that week, explaining, how it
Hmm.
went, if there's any up, anything that went wrong, anything that went really well, how it went, and which we'll be sharing on our YouTube and
Yes.
Instagram as well.
If you prefer to watch videos of people making recipes, we'll have the video of the episode, and then we'll have the individual video of just the recipe being made. So you
Right.
can skip right to that if you prefer that.
Yes. Yeah. And this at the same time, you might be listening to
Hmm.
this podcast right now on your Spotify or on your Apple podcast or wherever you listen.
Apple
But it's
Podcasts, yeah.
also on YouTube if you want to see our bright shining faces while you listen.
Yes.
And then do you want to talk about the last segment because it's I think the most exciting.
Oh, so our last segment, and we're gonna have a kind of a general theme for each episode, but our last segment is gonna be based off of all of your guys' questions. Is that the right terminology?
Yeah, I would say
All all of our listeners' questions is
yes.
what this last segment's gonna be based off of. And we'll probably pick a general theme based off of the questions you all submit to us. And you can submit it to us via email or DM us over Instagram or anything like that. And we'll pick a kind of theme and we're going to answer your questions. And from two nutrition experts, we'll give you the real deal answers, bust all those nutrition myths, and give you guys the facts.
Yeah. So very
The facts.
exciting. We're going to take a quick break and then we will jump into our first segment. So see you soon.
See you guys soon.
Okay. So welcome back. For the first segment, I will be going over the research of the week, I guess we can call it.
Yes. I'm so
um,
excited.
I know. So, kind of a quick rundown of how we're going to do it. We're each going to take turns doing research and
Mm-hmm.
recipes each week.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this week I'm going to be doing the research, and the way that we're going to do it is just kind of pick a topic and then do the research, pull it for you so you don't have to,
Yes.
kind of make sense of it, and just offer you our suggestions and kind of what we understand.
Our thoughts.
Our thoughts. So, are you ready to jump in?
I'm so excited. And by the way, guys, Kelsey has not told me the research she found, and I have not told her the recipe I found. So we're not going to tell each other the research and recipe every week. So it's a surprise to the other person, and we'll have
Right.
each other's natural reactions.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
your recipe sucks, then you'll know. I feel that way. I'm just kidding.
Oh, you'll know who to blame. Okay.
I'm very excited
Um,
because you're so excited.
I'm so excited. So I pulled something that I have been wondering about, and I got a couple questions about too. And I don't know, I just kind of finally did the research on it. So, April, factor cap.
Oh,
Yeah.
factor cap.
I'm
Okay.
trendy. I'm
You're
trendy.
trendy. We're not old. We're trendy.
Yeah. So, fact or cap, does collagen actually work?
You mean the like supplements?
Collagen supplements. What does it work?
Yes, but I think hydrolyzed collagen supplements. And then I think the point is that people tend to take it because they want it for a specific reason, like
Mm.
better hair and nail growth or to improve their joints, but you can't tell a supplement what to do once it enters your body. So I think there's a disconnect there. People take it for one reason, but your body's going to use it how it wants to use it. So
You are such a genius.
it's
Yeah,
in between a factor cap for me.
there you go. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's it. So I'm gonna jump into the
I'm glad you picked this because this is such a hot topic right now.
yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna jump into it. So what even is collagen in the first place? You might be wondering. So collagen is a protein in our bodies, and it's made. Its primary role is to maintain our connective tissue, and kind of just like the mechanical properties of our skin. So our connective tissue is things in our joints, cartilage, like our nose and ears, as well as our skin and all of our other kind of like soft tissues. It's just really there for our extracellular matrix, if you want to call it that,
Ooh,
our
pulling out
strength and regulation
fancy
and
terms.
regeneration of all of our tissues. Sorry, what did you say?
As they're pulling out the fancy terms.
I know. I'm just trying to sound smart, April.
You are smart. You need to try.
I know. Oh, all right. So that's kind of what collagen is, and a lot of
Mhm.
people, want to use it for. If you've heard the hype about it, there's powders, there's pills, there's bone
Mhm.
broth, tea. And it's said to be used for like anti-aging, wound healing, joint recovery, gut health, muscle building, so many things. And there's so many things where I'm like, is it really like the fountain of youth that they say it is? I don't know.
I haven't heard that claim that it's connected to gut health yet. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, something I didn't do the full research on the gut health, but
Mhm.
it's supposed to be about the certain like amino acids and peptides. I think the name of the amino acid is a good question. I think it's actually I wrote down some of the amino acids there's 3 amino acids in it. Now you're really testing me, April.
No, I'm really curious about that because
Oh,
it's just
I
crazy.
think proline, hydroxyproline and proline glycine
Okay.
are the 3 amino acids that are in it. And I think that some of them actually do promote, like if you need healing and stuff,
Mhm.
kind of, it's again connective tissue. So connective tissue regrowth.
Mhm.
You have,
Mhm.
again, I'm not giving a recommendation here. I'm just saying that's kind of what I read a summary of. I didn't do the
Yeah.
full research for it. Just covering my bases there. So here's what I did do the research for though. So, said to be used for anti-aging, all those things.
Mhm.
Collagen is hydrolyzed enzymatically. So when we, normally would eat collagen, so if we were going to eat it off of a bone, if you're eating a chicken bone, something like that,
Mhm.
enzymes will hydrolyze it, and that's how our body actually uptakes it. It turns into dipeptides, which are some of those amino acids that I was just talking about, breaks them down. It gets sucked into your blood and sent to your cells to be used for work, which means it's going to rebuild tissues, use it for
Yes.
building things like that.
Mhm.
So, does the hydrolyzed collagen actually work though? That's a good question.
Fact or
So I
cap,
also
Kelsey?
what? Factor cap.
I
Um,
just want a chance to say it.
I know it's actually kind of fun to say.
It is.
The last thing I did want to mention too is that a lot of times it's pulled from bovine. I had to look up how to say this
Yes.
porcine, which is pork, marine and poultry hydrolyzed collagen. So that's what you're gonna find
Mhm.
in pretty much all of your collagen supplements. So, question
Right.
is, do they work? Well, I
Should we
looked
do
up
a drum roll?
yeah, well, I looked up 3 different types. I looked up 3 different things that it could work for.
Okay.
Skin and aging, wound healing, and joint recovery. Because I was
Mhm.
like, all right. So I did some research, looked at the research. I just repeated that twice.
Well, you found the research and then you analyzed the research, is what
Yes.
you meant. Yeah.
Yes. Looked at it and said, all right. So, according to the International Journal of Dermatology in
Ooh.
2021, a meta analysis of RCTs, 19 RCTs, which means that it was just an analysis of a bunch of different trials, randomized
Mhm.
control trials, says yes. Based on the results, the ingestion of hydrolyzed collagen
We
for
love
90
that.
days is effective for reducing skin aging, and it reduces wrinkles and improves skin elasticity and hydration.
That's
So
awesome.
I know. So
I
yeah,
love that.
it does technically. I mean, research says it should work for skin. Okay, now for skin and wound healing. So Journal of Marine Biotechnology in
Okay, can I do another
2021.
drum roll?
Yeah, you can. Systematic review of 10 observational studies. So again, another review of observational studies this
Mhm.
time, not trials, but studies that just kind of look at what worked. Says probably.
Probably. That's
Yeah, so
such.
it was a review of marine collagen. So it means
Mhm.
came from fish skin, marine sponges, and jellyfish. Says that
Interesting.
it does have positive effects on wound skin healing in experimental models. A couple of limitations: it is just marine collagen, and there's no
Mhm.
human trials in this one. It's all animal trials. So, I mean, collagen is collagen, though, no matter where it comes from. If it's marine
Mhm.
collagen or other ones, it's going to be that same 3 amino acids. But it was also only done on animals, so Small limitation there, but still,
Mm-hmm.
wound
I
healing
have
is good.
a question. Wait, did you finish addressing all of them? No, you have to address joint, right?
I have one more on joint
Okay.
recovery.
And then I'll save my question till afterwards.
Okay. For joint and pain recovery, the Forum for Amino Acid, Peptide, and Protein Research in 21 states. Oh, a systematic review of 15 RCTs states yes. Oh, yes. They all work.
I like how like high pitched your voice goes when you're like, yes.
I'm just so surprised. Like usually research is usually like, oh, it could be yes or no.
Right.
And all of them are like, yeah, it does work. And I'm like, this is quite solid.
It
actually.
is shocking. And for those of you who don't read research articles very often, we obviously have to for our profession, and we should as practicing clinicians. And but
As people giving nutrition advice.
yes, research studies can be very frustrating because a lot of times there are just so many variables. So most of the times it's very rarely a very direct straight answer. It's usually the probably one, like you said, like most likely will help people, but should be studied further is usually what they say. Like everything always needs to be studied further.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised by that too.
Collagen is straight up beneficial. That doesn't say straight up. That was an addition by me. Collagen is straight up beneficial in improving joint functionality and reducing joint pain.
Do you think their article would have gotten published if they had said straight up?
I would say probably not.
Probably not. Most likely needs to be studied further.
I think I should start writing research articles and just using lay terms, and it would be super fun. I think people would be a lot more likely to read research if they're easy to read.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Easier to read. Oh my goodness. Some of these articles you need to go over with a fine-tooth comb like 3 times.
Yes. I mean, yeah, definitely. So going off of everything that I've talked about. So yes, turns out hydrolyzed collagen does work, which is crazy. However, I did do a little deep dive into the other side of things. So keep in mind that this is a new and booming industry. By 2025, the market of collagen products is projected to reach $6.5 billion, which
holy cannoli,
crazy, and sometimes can make you lead to, I don't know, some second guessing and tricky business. I think with all big businesses, you kind of just want to go, what's
supplements are rough. Or tricky, I should say.
And so there was also a test of 14 popular collagen supplements done by the main supplement testing company in the States. And it showed that all the products contained the amount of collagen that they said they would, but they also, one contained, so not all of them, but one of them contained really high levels of cadmium, which is a toxic heavy metal.
Oh, good.
So that's
great.
And then also some people are kind of concerned about with all of the ground up hooves and hides and bones and nerve tissues from cows and other animals, kind of worried about mad cow disease as well.
Oh, so interesting.
But if all of the guidelines from the FDA are followed, they should be safe. These aren't FDA approved. They probably won't be, but the FDA does put out guidelines for supplements for supplement companies to use.
And that's a great just point to address real quickly. A lot of people don't know that supplements aren't regulated by our government or by the FDA, which means that Kelsey and I could go in our basement tomorrow and create a supplement and sell it and tell everyone it's collagen, but it could just be a sugar pill and there'd be no one there to double check it. So that's super scary, but a lot of companies will get their products what's called third-party tested. So they'll have outside companies come in and test their products to prove that the supplements they're selling actually have not only what's in them that they say is in them, but also the amounts. So always look for that third-party testing label on the side of your supplements to make sure that they're tested, because there have been a lot of serious medical conditions that can come out of taking supplements that people have put out there that don't have in them.
And keep in mind, if it says clean or natural or X, Y, and Z, anything can be clean and natural. So
it's a trigger word.
So going off of that, if you're still unsure about if you really want to do a collagen supplement, you can always make your own like bone broth and stock at home and get a really good source of collagen. If you've got chicken, fish, or beef bones leftovers, you can make your own stock. It's really good for food waste as well. So if you want to go that route too, something fun to do in the kitchen, give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
Also, sometimes collagen supplements, if taken in too large amounts, can cause some gas and bloating. So you probably don't want that. So overall, I mean, that's all the research I pulled. Hopefully,
I love
I
it.
answered some really good questions. I would say, in general, just be smart when picking your collagen source or any supplement source, really.
Mm-hmm.
Check your company's policies on their sources, heavy metal use, and just, make your own decisions if that's something you want to try.
I love that you picked this topic.
Isn't it fun? I
So
was like, I
fun.
really want to know. Because I've used collagen protein in the past. I had really bad knee issues when I was in
Mm-hmm.
college, and it kind of has followed me a little bit. I'm not doing as much running now, which is probably better as well.
That probably
But
helps.
yeah, it probably helps. But like I was not sure, and I was just going for it because I was 20 and thought,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it can't hurt. And but I didn't know anything about it. So now I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm just curious. What is the deal?
Mm-hmm.
And I've also heard, sorry, I'm just gonna keep on talking, but
No, don't apologize. Keep going.
I was scrolling on the TikTok or the Instagram or whatever I was
On the
on,
TikTok.
and I heard there was this one person, again, don't know the account, whatever. And it's this guy talking about, oh, collagen doesn't work because it's just a protein, and when you eat a protein, it's just gonna, um, metabolize as a protein. And I was like, you know what, that actually kind of makes sense. But when I realized there's the amino acids that are actually broken down into the dipeptides that your blood
Mm-hmm.
takes up, that's not just the protein that's used as protein.
Okay.
And because it will be, your body will use it as protein, but there's
Mm-hmm.
other dipeptides in it that your body's going to go, ooh, yay. It's like a little surprise treat. It's like, oh, yes, I'm going to use this. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. But then I did a little bit more research and was like, no, it does actually do some things.
That's
Right?
cool. And I think what everyone really needs to know in general with supplements, because there's so much back and forth with it, that it's very individualized. And we'll say this, I think probably in every single episode, is that nutrition is so incredibly individualized that if you are wondering if you personally need to be taking collagen or any other supplement, go find a dietitian that can sit
Yes.
down, analyze you, your metrics, your lifestyle, what you eat, because there are a lot of people who may not need collagen because they may get enough of it through their diet, depending on what they eat. There may be people who get enough of it in their diet, but they have other conditions that requires them to have extra. There may be people who don't get enough of it in their diet because they don't like those foods and they need to take it. It just can really range. So it's not a direct answer. I would say the answer is obviously it can work. It's not going to harm you, but not everyone needs to take it. I would say, yeah, just go search out a dietitian if you're looking to find out if you personally need to take it. And then if you do decide to invest in it, make sure it's third-party tested.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely always do some research on your supplements if that's what you're doing.
Yes, absolutely. Ah, great topic. I'm glad you picked this.
Thanks. I know. I was so excited when I found it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do a deep dive, and I just love research, so I got excited. All right. Well, I think we're gonna take a quick break and then jump into our recipe.
Woo, let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Talk to you.
Welcome back, everybody. Excited to kick off the recipe portion
I'm
of
so
our podcast.
excited. Recipe time.
Recipe time, because we love food and singing about food. So I picked something really simple for this first recipe because it's a crowd pleaser.
Ooh.
I used to make this all the time for my different nutrition club meetings in undergrad,
Look at
and
you.
they always were all gone by the end of the meeting. So I really like them because, like I said, it's a crowd pleaser. Usually everybody really likes them, and they're also very adaptable depending on your flavor profile, and then also if you have any allergies or intolerances. They're super easy and simple to make. So today we're going to be talking about energy balls.
Ooh! Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. This is like my favorite snack.
I was gonna say, I feel like you've definitely made energy balls before.
Oh yeah, this is my go-to. I always am looking for a good snack just to grab and have something really quick and easy to get. So that's awesome. I'm excited.
I wanted to pick something, like I said, quick and easy for the first one, just to kick it off. Also because I get a lot of people asking me over and over again, what are quick, easy snacks that I can make? What are things I can do really fast? Because everyone's always busy, always has a million things going on. And these are great because their shelf life is pretty long. They don't necessarily need to be refrigerated. And they take literally 2 minutes to make, maybe.
Oh, what a win.
And there's also, like I said, so adaptable. So the version that I usually make involves peanut butter, oats, honey, and dark chocolate chips. So
my favorite food group.
I know. It involves your favorite food groups. I like these. So by the way, guys, for all of our recipes, we're going to be posting on our Instagram the actual breakdown of the amount of ingredients and the whole process, especially if there's more complicated recipes than this one, everything about how to make them. And that'll, like we said before, there'll also be a video of me making the recipe or Kelsey making the recipe on YouTube and the breakdown of the recipe and the steps there too. So this is just kind of the overview and our little discussion of it. But if you're looking for more details, search out those 2 platforms. So these energy balls, like I said, started making them in undergrad and everybody loved them. So basically, like I said, you just combine peanut butter, oats, honey, and dark chocolate chips, mix it together with your hands or with a spoon, depending on how messy you're feeling that day.
Oh, and then in there.
I always used to do it with my hands because I don't know what it was. It was just like fun to feel the texture of the oats and the peanut butter. And it's like,
yes,
as an adult, you're like not supposed to play with food with your hands. So it's kind of almost like a rebellion thing. Like I get to handle peanut butter.
When I was in my undergrad, I had the teacher for my food principles and applications class. Did you have a class like this where you just do food?
Yeah.
Like each unit
the lab
is
was food, and then the class
is like, each unit is like
what
you
percent
can
cocoa is chocolate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he did food service as well, but he was such a germaphobe and such a stickler about temperatures and hand washing and everything. He scared the absolute crap out of me with anything. I'm still nervous about poultry.
I was just gonna say chicken. You're probably still nervous about chicken. I
hate cooking chicken. I don't like to touch it just because he was like, there's all these crazy things on it. And so for so long I was so afraid to work with my hands because he was so like
scary.
Don't do this, don't do that. He talked about cracking even eggshells the wrong way because you can get salmonella from the eggshells. And I was like, oh my gosh,
don't tell me that. I didn't know that.
Honestly, it was a lot of things that are really, really specific in the food service industry. So I was like, okay, good that restaurants are knowing these things. But for me in my home kitchen, I'm like, but now I'm a little bit more handsy.
That's really funny. I do remember that. For anyone who's wondering, well, when you're in the didactic program in undergrad, most programs require you to take some type of food course, obviously, because we're experts in nutrition and food. So like these labs, I mean, I don't know about your lab, but we made different types of cookies with different flour, or we would cook broccoli, 6 different ways, like just testing out food.
Did you have to do the class experiment?
Say that again?
The chicken experiment where you cook it in different ways.
Yeah. And we did it with broccoli too.
Yeah, we had to do it broccoli. We had to microwave a chicken. It was disgusting. It was so gross. Luckily, we didn't have to taste that one.
I'm pretty sure every single package ever says don't microwave. Well, those frozen chicken you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
The best unit was the candy unit when you got to make like caramel and toffee.
Yes, that was so fun.
That was fun. But yeah, and then in the class, we used to learn about like what percent of cocoa is in dark chocolate versus normal chocolate.
And like the milk, what do they call it? The milk, oh my gosh, like the milk fat that's in it. There's a name for it.
Fun fact, everybody, white chocolate is not actual chocolate because the percent of cocoa is so low that it can't be considered chocolate.
I know.
Poor white chocolate.
No, I don't really like white chocolate anyway.
You don't?
No, I know. For someone that's favorite food is chocolate, I don't. Like it. Well, it's probably because my favorite food is chocolate. I don't even like fake chocolate.
Anyways, that was one of the more fun units, and then we had a bunch of science classes too. But
yeah, like biochem
or chem. Oh gosh. Anyways, we can get off on a tangent. Back to energy balls.
Like balls.
I said, the great thing about these is you literally put all those ingredients in a bowl, mix it together, roll them into tiny balls, usually what I do is I put them in the fridge for like 10 minutes to kind of have them set. I always keep my energy balls in the fridge because I feel like it keeps them together better, but you can keep them in the pantry. Like you don't have to refrigerate them. It's just peanut butter and honey and oats and chocolate, all shelf stable items. The great thing I like about them, like I said, is that they're really adaptable to different food intolerances or preferences. So you don't have to use peanut butter. You can use a different type of nut butter. You could use, like, put cinnamon in there. You could use a different type of chocolate if you like your white chocolate or your milk chocolate or whatever. You can use different types of candies in there. You can get super creative. So it's a great snack because you have the fiber and the whole grains from the oats. You have protein and fat from the peanut butter, and you have more carbs from the honey, and then you have your fun from the chocolate.
Yeah.
So I
love
feel like
it.
it's a great on-the-go snack. And then I feel like it can be a really good pre-workout snack as long as you're eating it far in advance of your workout. Because it's higher in fat, you don't want to eat it like 10 minutes before you work out. Probably like 2 hours to an hour before you work out.
I feel like it's a good post-workout snack as well.
That's a good point. It will be a good post-workout snack because it has the carbs and the protein in there as well.
Yeah, you get post-recovery. That's awesome.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it contains all of my favorite. Whenever I have clients and they ask, "What do I have for snacks?" I always go, "You got to mix it up. You have to have variety because if you just have a piece of fruit or you just have whatever, it's not going to fill you up."
Nope, I agree. Gotta have variety, and you have to make sure. I always tell my clients you have to make sure you have, for the most part, try to have a fruit or vegetable, a protein, a fat, and if you can, also a whole grain, and then drink water on the side. I know sometimes with snacks it's difficult to hit every category, but trying to hit all those categories just really creates a balanced snack so that you're fueled until your next meal, your next snack, helps promote satiety, so that you're not starving in 30 minutes.
I love it. Yeah, I always say snacks are the stepping stones between meals.
What a fun phrase. I love
I know.
that.
Well,
it's philosophical of you.
It just helps to clear up the idea of, oh, snacks are scary. Snacks are, I can't eat too much of my snack because I'm not going to be hungry for my meal later on. And then you get all messed up with your hunger and fullness. And really, it's like, no, your snack is just a break in the pause between, between your next meal. It doesn't mean, if you're hungry an hour after a meal or 3 hours after a meal, whatever, go for it. Go for whatever feels good. But I don't know. So I know you and I are both big snackers too. So.
We are.
I know. But that was like one of our favorite
coworkers in the hospital always makes fun of me because I always have breakfast and then I come to work and I have my morning snack and then I have lunch and then I have my afternoon snack before I leave work. So he's like, "You're literally always eating." And I'm like, "Well, food's amazing." So
like, that's the point.
I listen to my hunger cues and I'm just hungry.
Yeah. And I find that, I don't know, maybe this is a generalization. Again, I haven't done the research on this, but I find that people with more of an appetite, this does make sense. More of an appetite, higher metabolism because your metabolism is going, hey, I need more food more often. And it just means that like, okay, cool. My metabolism is working and I'm hungry, which is great. That's a really good thing. And having those snacks in there and kind of going back to the way that snacks work too, kind of what we were talking about with the variety. You're totally right. And I think with this one, like if I was to have these, which I'm probably going to make them this week now, those ingredients, I think I'll probably do like, I'd have some and then have it with like a piece of fruit or something.
Yes.
That'd be an ideal snack for me.
I was just going to say a banana and then I caught myself because the other day I was giving a nutrition talk at an Orange Theory location. And I guess when I was giving out snack ideas, I kept saying banana because someone made a comment and they were like, "You must really like bananas." And I was like, did I say banana that much? It's just such an easy on-the-go fruit. But every fruit works.
Prepackaged, ready to go.
It literally is prepackaged nature.
I do associate, because when we were in grad school, you always had banana snacks. You always had bananas, and you made those really, really good banana and peanut butter stacks with the dark chocolate.
Oh, yes. Those are fun too.
And I associate those with you.
As long as I'm associated with food, then we're all
good. So whenever I have this, I'm like, oh, April.
So maybe I just need to just embrace my love of bananas and just be the bananas.
Go for it. Be the bananas dietitian. Let's do it.
I'm changing my handle right now. Ed Health Solutions, out the door, banana dietitian. It's here.
I think it's amazing. Oh gosh. All right. Well, thank you so much. I love that recipe. I can't wait to make it. I can't
Oh
wait
my
to see
gosh.
the YouTube video.
Yes, I'm very excited for that.
Yay. Awesome. Well, I think we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back with our questions of the week.
Well, welcome back, everybody. You've now reached the question and answer portion of our segment of our episode.
Yeah. Questions, answers, ask a dietitian, FAQ. Here we go.
Again, if you guys want to submit questions, please do. We would love you to. You can email us. Our email is linked below, or you can DM us on Instagram and ask your questions. So my goal is to have a food pun or a nutrition pun as our episode title for every episode, which is why I called this one 2 Peas on a Pod. I have to actually give Kelsey credit for this. She came up with it. I just decided to assign it to this specific episode because I thought it was very appropriate because we're introducing us 2 Peas on our podcast.
I love it. I think that that's so fabulous.
So and thank you for supporting me in this journey, by the way.
I'm here to support you. That's what we're here for.
So these nutrition puns will kind of give you an idea of what the episode questions will be about. It'll give you a general category. This one's more of just general because we wanted to introduce ourselves and have you guys get to know us a little bit. Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to answer 3 questions today because the podcast has already gotten kind of long. Do you want to kick us off, Kelsey, or do you want me to?
I can totally kick us off. Okay, so this is actually a really good question because I feel like we just talked about something very similar.
Yes.
So the question is, are multivitamins worth taking? You want to take it away? Or you want me to start?
Yeah. So yes and no. And what may get kind of frustrating about nutrition, and I kind of mentioned earlier, is that sometimes there's not always a direct or right answer for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's very individualized, which means not everybody needs to take a multivitamin. And some people really do need to take a multivitamin. So, but in general, if you are generally a healthy individual that eats a variety of foods, fruits, vegetables, protein, fat, carbs, whole grains, and drink water, you generally do not need to take a multivitamin. However, it probably wouldn't harm you. But also if you feel like maybe you have a comorbidity or an outstanding condition a lot of people don't have, or maybe you just have a hate for fruits or vegetables and you tend to not get enough in, then you may need to take a multivitamin. But this is another question we're going to tell you. Seek out a dietitian, have them analyze you, your metrics, your diet, and they'll tell you whether or not you need to be taking one.
Yeah. Whenever people ask me about multivitamins, my favorite go-to is to tell them about my lovely, fantastic grandpa. I love him so much.
Aww.
So much. He's such a great guy. But he is army man, raised all over the States, but they live in Arkansas now. He's really just like a pork and beans kind of guy. Which is, you know what? You do you, Papa. He's 80 years old now.
Oh, Papa.
I know. He's my favorite. But that being said, I have already told him, you better be taking a multivitamin and a fish oil pill. That's all. Like I love him to bits. I want him to live as long as he can. And I'm like, I want you to do these things as a dietitian. I want you to do these things. You're 80 years old. You don't eat that many fruits and vegetables. He does eat some, but his ideal breakfast is eggs, bacon with some ketchup. And I'm like, come on, Papa.
Papa, get it together.
So it's those things where I'm like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I also dietitian here. I want to give that to my grandpa. And there are certain times in certain places that a multivitamin will work, especially if you are experiencing some deficiencies or certain diseases, things like that, where you will be diagnosed and your doctor will say, hey, you need to take this supplement. Doesn't always mean a multivitamin. It might be a really specific supplement like
iron,
a really specific one. But I would say overall, like April said, if you are getting all your fruits and vegetables in, getting your greens, getting your protein, getting all your things, you're probably pretty good without a multivitamin. There are things where it's like if you're pregnant or planning on getting pregnant, could be a good place to have one.
Absolutely. It really just does depend on the individual, which is not a straight answer. I know. I'm sorry.
Nutrition is just not black and white. Everything about it. How much should I eat?
You know that saying, it's the saying that goes, it's not an exact science.
Yeah.
I always think about that because nutrition is obviously rooted in science, scientific research, and research studies, but it is so individualized when it comes down to the person. So there's a lot of gray area and application that needs to be
and it really is. Like, one thing I like to talk about too is when it comes to your own nutrition, you're not in any rush. Like, you don't need to find exactly what works for you today. I feel like so many people are, put under the pump and I'm going to make it perfect and everything needs to be amazing. And that's not the case at all. It's much better and a lot more sustainable if you just take your time with it and find the things that make you feel your best and do the things that work the best for you over time. And that might take time.
Definitely.
And that's okay.
I think that's a great point, and I definitely agree. And I think a lot of that rush tends to come from diet culture, just pushing that on people to make change immediately. But that is a whole other.
That'll be an episode.
Whole other. That's not even one other discussion. That's like 13 other discussions.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a whole series on all that BS.
Yeah, we should. By the way, if there's anything in particular, like we said, if you have questions or if there's any topics in particular you all want us to talk about, feel free to let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah. Should we move on to the next question?
Yes, let's do it. Do you want me to read it?
I can read it off.
Okay.
Okay, the next question is, what is the best food I can eat? That is another loaded question with no exact answer. Do you want to take it on or do you want me to take it on?
I can take it on, but it's not going to be. It's probably not what they want.
That's okay. We're not here to tell them what they want to hear. We're here to tell them the facts.
Okay. The best food you can eat is all the foods.
Yes.
The best food you can eat is literally as much diversity as possible. A diverse diet is the healthiest diet. You want to make sure you're getting everything under the sun, and that includes some sweets as well, which I'll get to. But really, you want to make sure you are getting each of your plates, and kind of like we were talking about with snacks earlier, you want to get variety. You want to get carbs for energy and fast-acting, blood sugar uptake, so your body can say, "Ooh, yes, energy," and your brain uses carbs too. And you need protein and fat to keep you full for longer and build all of your amazing bones and tendons,
protect our organs and help insulate our bodies.
All those things. You really need everything, and fruits and vegetables, and oh my gosh, there's vitamins and minerals in fruits and vegetables, but they're in everything. They're in proteins and
fats and grains and all over the place.
Yeah, so really to get all the things, and also to, the best food you can eat is sometimes it's going to be a piece of chocolate, or sometimes it's going to be a special treat for you too, because, those are really important for health, mental health. All things fall under the sun too. So that's my answer.
Absolutely. I agree with you. There is no one food that's superior to all other foods. And I've gotten this question a lot of times, and there is no one food that's better than other foods. Like Kelsey said, I 100% agree. You need to get a variety of foods in. When they say eat the rainbow in the Skittles commercial, that is exactly what you need to be doing. Eat the rainbow, eat lots of colors. If Skittles are involved in that rainbow, power to you.
Go for it.
And there's no foods to really avoid either. That's what I have to say about it.
Amazing.
But you just tackled it so well, so that's all for me.
Yeah, amazing. All right.
Okay, last but not least.
Last question.
All right. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
I'll read it. Is sugar addicting?
This is the ultimate question. I feel like everybody wants to know.
I know.
From the research that I've done, I found that sugar is not addicting.
Yes, I agree. Are you going to talk about the same research that I'm going to?
I don't know. Let's find out. You go for it first.
I was going to talk about the rat study that they did that said that it was.
Yes.
Addicting.
Yes, the rat study. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
I think we've had this conversation before.
Rats aren't humans, and humans aren't rats.
But also, so what they did, they were like, so this is the outcomes of the study were sugar has the same, it lights up the same process in the brain that cocaine does.
Yes.
For when they get to sugar, when the rats eat sugar. However, they fasted these rats for 12 hours and then they were starved and then given sugar, which is just an oxytocin response to food, which is the same response to cocaine. So literally, it's not the fact that it's addicting. It's the fact that they were saying, oh my gosh, yes, finally food.
Yes, finally energy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
let's kill that theory. Let's kill that rumor right here and now. Sugar is not addicting.
Yeah.
I think any shape or form.
A lot of people think that it's addicting because they go, oh, you know, there's again kind of that diet culture idea around it of, oh, I can't have it. But the thing that comes out of that is the fact that what happens when you tell a little kid that they can't have something? All
they want is that one thing.
And we still have that. We still have that in our bodies. When we restrict a food and say, we can't have this, we're not allowed to have this, or not have it after a certain time, or you can only have this variety of it,
or it's bad, so I shouldn't have
it. Whatever. When you label it as bad, that's when your brain goes, ooh, I want it now. I need it as much as I can. And I actually, speaking to a really awesome eating disorder dietitian, I wish I could remember her name. She's based out of Denver. One time, it was when I was doing my rotation at the eating disorder clinic when I was doing my master's. And she said this really, really amazing thing. She said, just the thought of any type of restriction can make our brain go into its protective measures and say, I need to eat because I'm expecting to starve.
Interesting.
I know. So even the thought of restricting anything, having that thought of starving, your brain will immediately protect your body and go, I need to binge, I need to eat because I'm getting ready for this restriction.
I love that. That's an interesting thought. And, I agree with everything you say. It's so true. If you give yourself unconditional permission to eat whatever the hell you want, then it takes away that stress, the guilt, the negativity around all these foods that are labeled as bad in diet culture, which would be like pizza, burgers, desserts, all that stuff that diet culture labels as bad. If we take away all that negativity and give ourselves unconditional permission to eat it, then it's really scary to do that. But if you do that, then it really takes the stress off those foods, and there won't be so much stress or guilt around them anymore. And you won't feel like you have that last supper mentality. So, you restrict all these foods that you're telling yourself are bad, you should feel guilty for, and then you get them in front of you because you're in a scenario where they're there at a birthday party or something, then you feel like you need to eat as much as possible because you never get it. And you have that last supper mentality, and you get into that, like you mentioned, the overeat, restrict cycle, and it just can get into a whole mess. But this is also another episode that we need to
I know. I was like, we could get into all these things. And one thing I do want to say here that we will definitely talk about in a new episode coming up. But a lot of the times when we talk about these things, a lot of the haters will be like, oh, well, you're promoting obesity. And that's really not the case. We're promoting listening to your body and not restricting foods so that you're able to actually be more in tune with yourself and go, do I actually even really want, a huge chocolate bar right now? Maybe I do, and that's okay. But maybe I don't. And it's not often that I will eat a whole chocolate bar. It's often that I'm going to say, I'm allowed to have as much of this as I want, but I really only want a couple squares.
Right. Because you know that you could also have some more of that chocolate bar later on in the day or the next day or next week, because there's no restrictions. So you don't feel the need to overeat it because you could have it at any time.
Exactly.
So the long and the short of it is sugar's not addicting.
Sugar's not addicting. We're doing great. So that's all the questions we're going to cover this week because I have a feeling that this is going to be a long episode anyway. But do want to thank everyone for listening. Thanks, April, for chatting and doing this with me.
Thanks for being you.
Thanks for being you, April. And yeah, I hope that you all have a lovely rest of your day and rest of your week.
Please. I feel like I'm so excited to say this because every podcast I listen to gets to say this, but leave us a review, give us a rating.
Yes.
Share our podcast to your friends and family or on your social media, and we would love the feedback. We always want to improve, and like we've said a million times, DM us with questions, email us with questions, comments, topics that you think we should address. And I think
definitely we need as many questions as we can get, and if we manifesting we get thousands of questions because we have so many followers, just kidding, but if we do, we will try our best to get back to as many as you can, but right now we are really just trying to get a good base of questions so that we are able to answer them all.
Yes, well, like Kelsey said, I want to thank you all so much too for coming to listen to us. This has been so much fun. I had a great time chatting with you.
I know. All right. Well, I think we should wrap it up. But thanks, everyone. And
we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.
Or we'll see you guys in. Did you say we'll see you guys? We'll talk to you guys next week.
We'll talk to you guys and you will listen to us.
All right. We will be on next week, everybody.
Okay. We'll be back.
Bye.
Bye.